Good morning, Ron and Janelle.
Yeah, no
Brian's
Brian.
being lazy. He gets President's Day off. He's not being lazy. He's just resting. So today we're talking about text etiquette. Could you believe that's even a thing? It's like,
Yeah, because when we were growing up, at least when I was growing up,
Yeah.
we had almost like a scripted thing for the phone.
Yeah.
That you'd answer, "Hello, Eastwood residence, Ron speaking."
May I help you?
Yeah.
Len, they had to say, when I was dating Len, for the phone etiquette at his house is Neville's residence, good morning, or something. There was no such thing in my house, but we all had some sort of etiquette with phones. And so texting has been around long enough where we've kind of generated unspoken etiquette rules for texting. And so Ron and I were looking at some of these and kind of reacting. There's one I break very often with my mom, and so I'll share that later. But in the meantime, you text us things that are your pet peeves with texting. Maybe people in your lives are not getting the memo about, hello, there is etiquette to texting. Ron, one of them that we first covered this morning was the rule of always respond.
Yeah.
Is that one that do you break that one, or?
Yeah, I break that one. I respond when I feel like it's necessary, but sometimes I feel like the person has just said some bit of information to me.
Yeah.
And so I don't feel like I need to say, okay, to let them know I got it, or thank you.
Yeah.
Although that would be more polite.
I don't always respond. And basically what this rule says is always respond unless you don't want this person as your friend anymore. I guess they're just saying is a form of, like, it makes the person feel guilty. So think about texts you get that's like, hey, what are you doing? Or can you call me? There are texts I get that I'll look at and I'm busy. And in my mind, I'll be like, okay, I'll get back to them. And then I forget. And so I don't respond when I'm supposed to, or sometimes not at all. And so the person's saying, yes, we are all busy, and I know it's sometimes hard to respond when you know it. We'll probably end up in a full text conversation, but you should always respond. Do you agree? Hi, Callie, Deborah. Hey.
Yeah.
So with that one of their tips is, I know that sometimes, let me know if you struggle with this, but I'll respond in my mind. And I don't realize it. So I'll look at the text and say, okay, I'm going to get back to them, and forget about it. And then it's out of my mind. And so their tip with this rule is keep the message marked as new so that you don't forget to get back to the person. I'm so guilty of this, and I like that tip.
Yeah. It's interesting. We had a text come in for the Walk Worthy giveaway. And they text the word worthy, and so it came in on our screen. And we have it set up to send an automatic reply back. So the reply went, and then they send an automatic reply back to us, "I'm driving," sent from my car.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, well, good.
That's a good auto reply. Yeah, and texting and driving is a basic, like, no. Can I just give a thumbs up? Yes, Deborah. She agrees with that rule. She says, but if you don't respond, you really don't know that it was received. That's true. Mm-hmm. Technology doesn't always work. Oftentimes, I don't get some text. And the problem, Deborah, is that some people don't give the benefit of the doubt, and they assume you received it, and they're like, it's 5 minutes, why haven't you responded? But then that creates another thing, Ron. Do you agree that we've developed this expectation that if I texted you, you should respond back? Versus you may not be available. Like we're not on call for everybody.
I think people are different. Some people, that's more how their truth is, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so they've sent you a text, they expect a text back.
Yeah.
And others are more easygoing and laissez-faire, and they'll just be like, I sent you a text, great.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I get it, Deborah. She's saying one thing you can do is give the thumbs up to acknowledge.
Oh,
that,
okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea. One of the other rules that stood out to me is don't ignore a call and then text a person. So if you ignore the call and text them right back, it gives them the understanding like, okay, well, you're available. You just texted me. Why don't you just pick up? I don't agree with that one. At first, first listening to it, what do you think about that rule? Do you agree?
I think if the person really knows you, they know if you like to use a phone or you'd rather do text.
Yeah.
And there's popular memes that circle that basically hint at that, like, why did you call me? Don't you even know me?
Yeah.
I don't want a phone call.
I know there's times Len sends me the automatic text. So if he's in a meeting, he'll just text me right back. He doesn't pick up if I call, and he'll text me saying, I'm in a meeting, please text, or I'm in a meeting, call you back later. Hi, Adrian. Hi, Mike. Let us know any texting pet peeves you have. We're reading some texting messages etiquette. Which one stood out to you, Ron?
One that...
Or do you have one that you're like, this needs to go on the list?
They talked about it in their rules, but I don't remember what the exact title was. But using too much of an abbreviation.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Some people use like the letter U instead of spelling Y-O-U.
Yeah.
And R instead of A-R-E.
Yeah.
And some of those you can look at and quickly understand and make use of the message. Sometimes there's so much abbreviation done in there that it takes you longer to try to play through in your mind what is all of that.
Oh, yeah.
And so don't do that.
Don't do that.
Things like they talk about LOL, basically don't
overuse.
Yeah. And I've seen people with ROFL.
Oh, yeah.
MBO or something.
Yeah.
Rolling on the floor, laughing my butt off is what it's supposed to be.
Super long, yeah.
But yeah, it would take you a day to try to decode this.
Yeah. Callie says saying the K instead of okay drives her nuts.
Okay.
Do you guys think that emojis could be overused? I've heard, I use them a lot, but it's because texting, you want to make sure you come across and your tone comes across fine. Mm-hmm. So I use that a lot, and then I use exclamation point a lot. Is that bad?
I like to give a couple of exclamation points.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be a string of 10.
Yeah.
But 2 seems to be like a little more excited than 1.
Yeah, a good one. Let us know any pet peeves you have or any rules you would add. There is one. It's actually called the Golden Rule. And I do this, and it makes me feel very antisocial. But I don't know. Let me know if you do this too. So it says, do not call in response to a text. This is the most important rule. And then the guy says, why? Well, because it annoys me the most, and I'm writing the article. But it makes me feel antisocial, and I agree with that rule. Like, if I'm texting you, don't ring me. Do you agree? Is that messed up? Do you live by that rule?
Yeah. I don't like calls generally, If I have to make a doctor's appointment or something, I understand.
You gotta get Yeah.
Now my insurance has an online place where I can set up for a phone call to come to me, so that saves me a phone call there. But yeah, I would rather text, and so keep the format going.
Yeah.
Consistent.
Yeah.
If I wrote you a letter, I don't expect to email back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I wrote you a letter, I was not feeling good because I don't write letters.
Yeah. Eva says some phones tell you when they read the message. You know what? I don't have that phone. I know when the phone received it, but not when they read it. But I know that AOL used to back a long time ago, and Facebook. When they've read your message. That is so intrusive. You don't think? I don't like that because then you feel like more pressure to respond.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't know what you guys think about that. That's very annoying. Odell says, I absolutely abhor texting. I feel it's an inefficient use of time. He's a slow typer. I also think that it is often the catalyst for confusion. Can't tell tone, sarcasm. Lastly, I value being present, like actually present, as in the presence of a real person. I try not to subscribe to our text-saturated culture, often to the detriment of important relationships. But what about, Odell, family that lives far or when you're far away? Do you think texting can complement maybe? Alicia says text cause some people to feel entitled and impatient
Yeah.
and overthinking. We expect people to respond ASAP and we immediately assume the worst. What happened to positive thoughts? That is so true.
Yeah.
And it does make you feel like you're on a leash, like you should respond all the time. And then you get people on a date checking text and responding. Do you
Not
feel
me,
that?
though.
You said, do you think your generation's different in terms of the entitlement with texting?
Yeah, at least some of us, the phone is just a tool.
Yeah.
And I set it down like I would set down the hammer or a saw and walk away if I didn't need it right at that moment. And I'll come home and I set my phone typically in one spot near a charger,
Yeah.
and that's where it sets most of the day. I'll walk by every once in a while, push the button so that it lights up, and I'll see if I have any missed calls, which I always do because there's somebody wants to sell me car insurance or warranty. That's
Yeah.
the one that comes up all the time.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So that's one reason why I ignore the phone, because that's who calls me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's set aside, and I get to it when I get to it.
Nancy, she says people over 50 call after 3 texts because they get tired of typing. Do you agree? It's like the back and forth, do you
Yeah.
think? Maybe it depends on the person, you think.
I'm trying to think of a situation where I had texted 3 times and they didn't respond, and I still needed, like,
More
most
yeah.
of it would be like, forget it then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hold your peace. Welcome. I haven't seen you in a while. And he says, my wife is Dominican. Yay. And he's American. That is so awesome. He says she recently became an American citizen. That is so awesome.
All right.
Thank you for sharing that. Actually, I'm about to be a citizen like this weekend. My swearing in ceremony is on Friday. I took the test. It was like, I walked in scared and like intimidated. And then the guy was like my friend by the time I walked out. He was awesome. So congratulations to your wife. That's so cool. And I'll be with her soon. Rob says, my exception is my kids. Why are you texting me if you need me immediately? That is true. Oh, are you saying they should call? Hi, Rayma. Adrian says texting is overused. A whole conversation in text is very time consuming. It would be quicker. Wow, that is true. It would be quicker to have a verbal conversation. Some conversations are just too much to text. That's true.
Yeah, but sometimes a conversation has a lot of branches, and you start going down these rabbit trails.
Yeah.
And it stretches.
Yeah.
And I like to keep things focused.
Yeah, that's true. You know, one thing I like texting with the assumption, and because my siblings deal with it in a sense of you get to it when you get to it, so there's no pressure. We have group conversations, and people do this all the time, but we're like in a group chat that's ongoing. And so it's just like we kind of feel like we're in a living room. We live far apart, but my mom's a part of it. I like that. And so I get the whole texting is overused, but don't you guys think it's enhanced what otherwise would be very distant relationships if you use it in moments like those? You know, because I don't have time to be picking up the phone every couple hours to talk to my brother. Or can you imagine conference calls every like 5 hours with your family? So the idea of group text, I think, is cool.
Yeah, and it gives you the chance to just say a quick thing like, oh, we had a beautiful sunset today.
Yeah.
If you called up, you end up an hour conversation.
Yeah. Yes.
When all you wanted to say was just, wow, this great thing happened.
Just a moment. Look at this. This is so, it's like, oh my goodness. Somebody said, I'm trying to find your text because I saw it. They said one time somebody texted that a person died, and then they ended the call with LOL, thinking that LOL meant lots of love. Oh my goodness. That's the thing with text.
Wow.
Oh, I hope the person understood. Callie says, my husband doesn't like group text messages. My family does it when they comes to holidays to make plans. He's like, can you please figure out what's going on and just tell me? You know what, Callie? Len doesn't like it because my brother, picture Brian. That's my brother. with the sarcasm and the joking. And so the sisters are used to him. And Len is always, he's like the big brother, a part of the group texting. And so Len's working and we'll be like cracking jokes and texting back and forth. And he'll text and be like, can y'all stop? I'm in a meeting and this phone keeps buzzing. And we just like, it makes us laugh. Then remember, he's like my brother. My brother, that makes him text even more. Mm-hmm. So Len, there is the idea of group texting and including people that are like, why am I a part of this group? Or they may not be in a position where they could be texting at that moment. Deborah says, good to text when in a place where you shouldn't talk. True. Like in a movie or at church. Ooh. At church.
Yeah, either one of those is probably not good to be texting either, but maybe there's a reason you have
if an emergency comes up or the kids have to tell you something. Alicia says, my husband actually prefers to text hard conversations. Wow, that's a concept. He doesn't like confrontation, but he can handle it via text.
Yeah.
That's really good. That. He's able to remain composed while writing. Mm-hmm. It is now the way we discuss, difficult topics, especially with text to talk. That is a really good idea, Alicia. Now that you say that, Len forgets things a lot because as a guy, he has to, you probably can sympathize. He has to file certain things. So if something is not urgent or important for him, he'll hear me but forget.
Yeah.
It's really weird. So that's helped us with, if I need you to remember something, texting him and not just telling him. Like, oh, we got a dinner with friends in 2 weeks.
Okay.
With everything coming at him, he'll forget that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there are very creative ways and good ways. Do you guys have a system? Ways that you've used text to help you, whether in your family or as a couple?
A lot of times, if Dana wants me to pick up something on the way home, she could send me a text, and even if it's in the middle of the show, I'll still have that on the phone when I get done, and I'll know to stop and pick up a bag of ice or a half gallon of milk or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Alicia says, yes, my husband's the same. It's like making a note for him. Yeah, it helps. And just between you and me, it's proof that I told you. Because when I don't text and you say it and they forget, like there's a confusion of you never told me. So now I can be like, hello, a week ago I told you. But It's worked for us, and it helps him because he does have a lot of things thrown at him. Deborah says, I'm on worship team at church, and sometimes we did have to text each other. Like if pastor wanted us to come back up at the end for another song. Okay. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like that. But like anything else, we always talk about the internet is not good or bad. Even texting, I think it's in the way we use it. One thing I've had to keep in check is making sure I don't go to text so much, because I think even with family, it's so comfortable to go to text that you're like, man, like, how about I take the time to like make space to actually pick up the phone and talk to my sister?
Nah.
No? Aw. You're like, we're all right. It's good. Alicia says, thank you. She says, yes, we need receipts. We do need receipts. Yes, we do. But it also helps them, so, it does good. Yeah, this is good.
And it's interesting, people have all different preferences. Some people really like to send emails. Some people prefer Facebook messages. And some people, I don't have their email address, or we're not Facebook friends, or maybe I don't have their phone number, so I can't call or text, but I can reach them the other way.
Yeah, that's true. Callie says, there are some people that I would rather text and talk to. That's funny. Mm-hmm. I wonder why, Callie. That is funny. But I think, especially when it's with the grind of the day, certain people, it's just better to just do the texting too. Unless, and especially when it's people you're not close to, making sure you keep in check the way texting can miss tone, and there could be misunderstanding, especially if somebody doesn't really know you well. So I think you just got to figure it out, how it works for you.
One way I use texting, like with my granddaughter, she now has a cell phone, and I'll send her a text just randomly, let her know I'm thinking about her. Maybe a couple little hearts, or a face with the heart eyes coming out, or maybe some message like, so proud of you, or
that's so
just
sweet.
Whatever it might be.
Yeah,
and
very
I can do the
simple
same
way.
with my wife.
Yeah. But it's so sweet to get a text from Grandpa. Super cool. Thank you, you guys. Alicia, Deborah, good morning. Alicia, we hardly see you. Callie, nice to have you. Hi, Britt. Mike, good morning. Hold your peace. Thank you for the congratulations. Adrian, Deborah, Raymond, Nancy. Yes. And Rob's always on. Scott, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Odell, good morning. Love, love, love to have you on. Make sure to tune in tomorrow. We have a packed schedule. Lots of great conversations as always. And remember, this conversation continues. So if you got any like special tips, I love the idea of having tough conversations over text. That's so cool, and it can maybe help other people figure out how to handle dynamics in their relationships. So any advice? Post it up.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.